Okay, so I think the first thing we're going to do is we're going to build the Bluetooth application that we need to be able to control it using this Qul.com app that I downloaded for my Android device. And so let me get started here. I'm not going to try to connect anything yet. I just want to build something we can build with, something we can play with. So I'm going to choose a new window, okay, and I want to edit this window. And what I want to do is I want to go ahead and add, I think I want to add, let's find these. I'm actually doing this via my monitor, so that's a little bit funny to do. I'm going to make one of these controllers here, so I'm just going to drag that onto the screen. And we'll use that one to control the robot. And then I think I'm going to maybe find something that we can use. Let's see if I can find buttons. Here we go. Let's take one of these and use it for the up and down controls. Okay? And I'm going to go back to this guy, and what I want to do is I want to edit it. So I need to tell it what to say. I want it to send a signal to my software. And I've actually already started writing a piece, and I'm going to show you down here what I'm going to be looking for in my loop. What I want to be looking for are characters, a single character, a single letter that is, just to keep it super simple, super clean, a single letter that's going to be sent from the Bluetooth device and received by my Arduino Bluetooth device. And when it sees, for example, the letter F, I want to go ahead and tell it to go forward for some distance. So what I want to do is I want to define these pads here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and edit this pad. And it's a little hard for you to see this. It looks washed out, but right now the default is 1, 2, 3, and 4 that it says. But what I want to do is, if it's up, I want it to have, for example, an F for forward. And I like the idea of a R for right. And let's go down was B. What did I decide? B for backwards. So let's go with a B. You can do whatever you want, just you need to know what it is you've done it, what you've told it to do. And then left, I'm going to use an L. Okay. And I think it's all we have to do. Alright, and we're going to leave that the way it is. And I can say OK. And you can see it summarized down here what it is that this pad is going to do. And then let's go to this guy here. Let's make that my up. And I think I decided to just use a U. Yep, U and D, up and down. So this button is pushed. I want it to have a lowercase u. I could actually make it call an S for stop. When the button is released, okay, it'll send a stop signal. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to put an S in there. That should work. Actually, I'm doing this a little on the fly. And this one here, we want to go ahead and edit it, and we want to make it a D for down. And again, I'll put an S in here. I might change this. I think this is going to work fine. Okay, so now we've created the pad, so it's ready to go. All right, and we can go back here, and now it's been saved. Looks like this. You can see I played with one over here, and we can run it once we connect. So let's go to the code and let me show you what I've done, and then we'll give it a test. Okay, so this is important. Remember, let me go ahead and open up this example one more time so we can see where I stole this stuff from. So when I last left you, we were playing with this software serial, okay? And you can see that you have to include the software serial library. It should be built into Arduino. I've copy and pasted it here. I then had to set up my software serial device, okay? And in this case, we don't have 10 and 11. We had A1 and A0, okay? So I copied this, pasted it here, and changed it appropriately. All this stuff has remained the same from our motors. Okay, we didn't have to change anything there. I've left the setup pretty much the same, but I did add these two lines right here. Okay, and what this does is this establishes the port speed for my Bluetooth device to be 9600 baud. And for good measure, I just have it say hello world. I may or may not have to do that. It probably, I don't even have a serial window on this thing, so nothing will be there to receive it. But I just left it there. In fact, actually, you know what we'll do? We'll just go ahead and comment it out for the moment. We might use that as a diagnostics if we have any problems. Then my loop, okay? So what it does is it says, hey, if there's something available, if there's something in the buffer, all right, I would now like to read what's in that buffer, and it puts it in this variable called order, which I created here. So the order that this is the command. That might have been a better choice of words, but I called it order. So I created a variable, a global, called order, the order on which I'm commanding out. And down here, I fill that variable, okay, right there, with the character that has been saved in the buffer. And then what I do is I make a whole bunch of checks, okay? And I check to see whether or not it was an F or a B or an R or an L or any of the different things that come out of the device. And if it is in fact an F, well then I call the forward for 200 milliseconds and my robot goes forward for a short time. If it's a back, if it's an R, if it's an L, you can see all these things function. The default is to stop briefly, okay? So it'll only work for as long as the button's being pushed, and it'll just keep going out, you know, until you let up on the button. And then if there's nothing in the buffer, then it's just going to stop by default. So it should just continue, it should just stop. All this remains exactly the same. Okay, I've left that. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to close this up. I'm going to, have to zoom out here. All my cameras and everything are set funky so you can see the screen. So give me a moment. I'm going to pause it, clean up my images, and I'll be back, see if it worked. Alright, let's see how we do here. Okay, so I'm going to launch the application. And now I'm going to connect to a device. I'm going to connect to my H6 device. Connect. Hopefully we won't have that problem we did. Oh, look at that, connected perfectly that time. So I'm done connecting. Let's go here. Let's go to our application we created. I'm going to run it. And if I push this button, oh, look at that. Everything seems to work. Alright. How cool is that? So I think I'm going to untether it and see if we can get a little video of it driving around. And I'll be done with this one. So I'll see you in a second here. Let me hook it up. Alright, so you can see that the batteries that I had in there died, which was unfortunate. So I put some new rechargeable batteries in, and if we can see now it's completely untethered here. There's no cable going to it, so it's fully autonomous. And you can see that it works really pretty well. I can bring up the... it's stuck underneath something here, sorry. And... okay. So there you go, that was pretty cool, and I'll see you again soon in the next video.